happy Tuesday, Jar of Pain babies, and welcome back to the Jar of Pain podcast. This one is called The Church of Why. There are some religious themes in this episode, and that's okay. We are here to answer the questions as they are asked. Thank you so much for being here. It is a pleasure to be in your ears on this wonderful day. Right now it's a Sunday. It is windy and cold and sunny, and I'm just loving autumn and November and everything this time of year has to offer, from soups to cozy candles to Lord of the Rings movies to fantasy novels. Ooh, it's just my favorite. I just love it. Great episode this week. It's a little more wardrobe malfunction, but like I said last week, I do not care anymore. This is me, and I demand to exist as I am. About to watch the Packer game, Packers versus Bears. I'm more nervous than I should be. It's a fantastic way to feel. Liking the Packers teaches you about hope in a way that makes hope feel bad. So that's football for you, folks. Just a reminder, you can ask a question yourself at jarofpain.com. Please ask those questions. We cannot do this show without you. Also, for the first time, I'm going to actively ask you to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I've never done that before. So if you like this show, please like the episode. It helps way more than you think. So I'll be making nachos during the game today. I'm very excited about that. We also have a show coming up, our last Jar of Pain as you know it, on Saturday, December 7th at 7 p.m. You can get tickets and ask a question at jarofpain.com. I can't wait to see you there. All right, you are safe, you are beautiful, you are loved. Enjoy this week's episode of the Jar of Pain podcast. Thanks. Bye.
Jar of Pain, what time is it? 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 Jar of Pain, what time is it?
Welcome back to the Jar of Pain podcast, the podcast where we answer life's toughest questions from silly to serious. I can't promise you will be right,
but we will be passionate.
And if you have a question about life, you can put it in the jar at jarofpain.com. Very easy. Ben, how are you today?
I'm good.
Yeah, I already feel we're getting the energy back.
We're getting the energy back. Do we tell them that we're gonna run the same episode? Are we gonna tell them how the sausage is made and tell them that we made 2 episodes on the same day?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Otherwise, I was gonna be like, you can cut this out. I was gonna do a little note. I was gonna do a little note right in the microphone. But hey, Matt, cut this out right here.
Nope, I'm not gonna. I might cut that out, but
we're gonna keep it.
I want you to know that this is our second episode of the day.
Twosies.
So take that as you will. That's why we're in the same clothes. Although I only have 3 shirts.
Yeah, I've seen them, and one of them he uses to come on. So
it's true. It's a rough canvas material.
It's a laundry day for him.
It isn't actually. I did laundry yesterday.
Nice.
I try to avoid laundry on the weekends because I have shared laundry. And I'm trying to find the perfect day to do laundry when no one does it. And I kind of know people's schedules.
It's got to be Mondays, isn't it?
No, someone else does it on Mondays. And you can get in there, like, if you just put your hamper in as like a I'm next type of move. But then sometimes you're doing laundry after work and you're like, I got to go outside to do my laundry because it's in the basement. I have no way to get there without going outside.
Yeah.
And so I don't like doing laundry when it's pitch black out.
No.
It's not fun.
It's scary.
And our basement, it's weird. Yeah. It's just this house was built in the 1800s. It's just a weird basement.
Doesn't pass the vibe check.
No, it's weird doing it at night. I always think there's going to be something down there too. And there's like a hole in the wall and it's just pure blackness in there. No idea what's in that hole. And I will never shine a light on it. There's just a weird gap.
Lest you wake something. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's like a, something crazy. Maybe something fun. Like a ball.
There's a bunch of old board games downstairs that I think the owner of the house is just like, I don't know where else to put these. And I have a huge basement.
Maybe he could put them in the hole so that way the spirits of the definitely buried dead children have something to play with.
This did used to be an orphanage. That's why it was built.
Shut up.
It's true. When I first toured, I used to do this as a stand-up joke. When I first toured the house, we were walking up the apartment, we were walking up the stairs, and the landlord goes, "Don't worry, it's not haunted." And I'm like, that's something you say when something is totally haunted.
You wait for me to ask that.
Yeah.
You don't say
Well,
that.
he had just finished saying like why the house was built. Because Eau Claire was overrun with orphans. Fun story, huh? Because it was a working town, lumber town.
Yeah.
And there were a ton of brothels and prostitutes here. And this was a time before contraception had really taken off.
Yeah.
And so they were just popping out kids. I mean, when you're getting dumped in all day, you're going to have a kid at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. That's math.
And so then like people would come and leave town and come while they're here and then leave town. And then, then you got orphans running around. This house was funded by like an external philanthropic venture because Eau Claire had so many orphans. They went out and they're like, can someone help us build orphanages and fund them?
How many orphanages do we have in Eau Claire?
Multiple.
Wow.
We had an orphan problem.
You know what's crazy though? You never know where an orphanage is.
This is one. This used to be.
No. I'm not talking about used to be. I'm talking like in the present day.
Yeah, there still must be orphanages.
It's like you don't know it. There is. You just don't know where they are.
Maybe they've replaced it with the foster program,
Yeah, maybe.
There was a kid I grew up with named Chad. He was a foster kid. And he had like 9 foster siblings.
But that's just like orphanage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
It's still an
but
orphanage.
you never see.
It's rebranded.
It's a good point because you never see like the old movies be like the orphanage.
Yeah.
Would have like 25 kids in it.
Yeah. It's a old Daniel Tosh bit he has where he's like, no one's ever been giving you directions and be like, if you go past the orphanage, you've gone too far. Like nobody, you just don't know where they are.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think we were going to talk about orphanages.
I mean,
Orphanage-I.
I bet you didn't think that either when you,
That's what I love about this podcast. I always end up saying things I never thought.
Did you say orphanage-I?
Yeah.
First cue, what is your most embarrassing moment?
We've answered this. We've answered this on stage before. Someone else put it in there, obviously.
Yeah, someone wants us to be a fool instead of recognizing us for the perfection we are.
Yeah, and I'll say the same story I said back then. I was at Fairfax Pool, Eau Claire's city pool.
Mm-hmm.
And the lifeguards get a break at certain points of the day. And everyone has to get out of the pool so the lifeguards can have a 20-minute break or whatever.
Sure.
By law, they have to have a break.
Right.
I'm fine with breaks.
Yeah.
As a kid, you don't understand. You're like, what the can't they split them up?
Yeah.
But I guess, probably when the pool's busy, I wonder if they have to have a certain number of lifeguards on duty based on square footage or amount of kids. Anyway. So everyone gets out of the pool. And then everyone lines up on the side of the pool when the lifeguards get off a break to all jump in at once. Haha, very fun, right?
Yeah.
My friend Jordan, who I mentioned in the last episode too, my friend Jordan was like, let's jump in early, because the lifeguards would count you in 10, 9, whatever. And he goes, okay, on the count of 3, let's both jump in. Haha. And I'm like, that sounds good. And then lo and behold, we get to 3. I scurry my little plump ass into the pool. Jump. Jordan, nowhere to be seen.
Fucking Jordan.
And every whistle in the world went off at once. It was shame. I felt deep, unbridled shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I was a lesser person, I maybe never would have swam again. Because it was crazy, the amount of shame I felt. And everyone was pissed. That I don't know why everyone was pissed. I'm just a kid.
Yeah.
There is a thing where people, I don't know if it's a me thing. People really feel the freedom to say shit to me. They have my whole life.
Yeah.
Like when I was in flag football, my coach would be like, he would call me big unit.
And my dad was like, that's a compliment in football. And I'm like, I don't think that's what it is, Dad. I think it's just an adult man being mean to a fat kid. But my whole life, people have just like people just see me and they're like, yeah, I can make fun of him and he won't do anything. People yell at me in the street.
Yeah.
People don't believe this when I tell them this, but a car will drive by and be like, fat ass. They will just yell it at me. And it's like a movie in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm just existing. One time I was after a hike. There's a hiking trail by Lake Wissota. It's not a great trail.
Yeah.
But there on the hiking trail, there is a beach and you can swim. So like this was my day. I was like, oh, I'll go for a long hike and then I'll go for a swim in the lake.
Sure.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
You get all sweaty, filled with bug spray, and then you strip down and you can go for a swim.
Yeah.
And I was swimming by myself in the water and a boat came up to me and the girl in the boat just this was, by the way, a year and a half ago.
Okay.
This is recent. This is not the 90s. This is recent. A boat comes up, speedboat. The girl in the passenger seat looks over the edge and goes, I didn't know they had whales in this lake. And then they just drive away.
God.
They went out of their
damn.
way to insult a person. It is crazy to me. I don't understand it. I've begun it's just laughter now because it's just like, God, it's ridiculous. How awful is their life that they need to like do that to another person? But people just have cool thoughts about me all the time.
Here's the thing is that they're on a speedboat. So unfortunately, their life wasn't that bad.
That's
However,
true. That's true.
what you should have done is followed them and then murdered them.
Mm.
But right before you delivered the lethal blow,
I said, this whale has a knife.
I was going to say,
Title.
this is a killer whale. And then fucking murder.
Yeah. What about you? What's your most embarrassing moment?
I'm trying to think. My ability to feel shame is not it's not great. It's not like I don't feel it all the time. I don't feel really embarrassed. But I think I'll tell the same story I told on stage, which was like the first time I really truly bombed in front of a huge crowd.
Oh yeah, and then we had you redo your joke.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Oh yeah, it was the first time. I've told that story multiple times on stage at Jar Pain. I should stop doing that. I need to come up more shame. I need to bomb
you
more.
can borrow some of mine.
That's okay. That's okay.
Sometimes I don't go in the grocery store. I get there and I park and I go, no one wants to see me today.
That's not.
I know, it's crazy.
No, that's not shame. That's sad.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want that.
I've felt anxious where I'm like, I'm gonna run into somebody and I don't like the way I look today.
Yeah.
And I just go home. It's crazy, man. My brain. I'm a little fucked.
A little bit.
But I make people laugh really good.
How's therapy going?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Too sad again. No, it was in like my first 3 or 4 months of doing comedy. I entered this competition in the cities.
Funniest person
contest.
Yeah.
And I made it to the semifinals, made it to the next round. And it was a full house. It was like 250 people almost.
Yeah.
And I tell my jokes and just the craziest silence. You would not think 250 people could be quiet.
They can get a lot more quiet than I think anybody who's not a comedian knows.
They can get quiet, let me tell you. And my mom was there. And so, yeah, I ate shit. But like I ate shit and I was like, okay, this is the low. It's all up from here, baby doll. And so ever since then,
it never is.
I haven't made.
That's probably the lowest it's ever been for you.
Yeah. I haven't made 300 people quiet, mainly because I've never performed for 300 people. But there you go.
You've performed for 300 people.
But I didn't bomb.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Bombing at Comedy in the Park would be bad.
Bombing out, like not
But it's
even
an annual event in our town where like 1,500 to 2,000 people come to the park for free, clean comedy, family friendly comedy.
Bro.
And I can't imagine. That kid kind of did.
Imagine, no. Imagine bomb. Oh, that kid did bomb. Well, no, he got some. Here's the thing. This is what I'm saying. Could you imagine bombing and like not even a fucking crow caws? Like you hear a crow like cawing, and then like you hit the punchline, and then mid caw the crow just stops. That would be super funny.
Yeah. Even the crow doesn't like it.
Crow's like, oh,
Yeah.
poor taste.
So you need more embarrassment. I need less embarrassment.
Actually, I'm gonna say you definitely need to feel less embarrassed. But not also just having someone come up to you and call you fat. That's not embarrassing. That's just rude on their part.
Yeah, it honestly makes me laugh now because I'm just like, what? How is their day going?
But you jumping into a pool when your friend says, I'm going to jump in the pool, and then you get fucking hit with whistles.
That was embarrassing.
That is embarrassing. But we're adult men in our 30s. We don't feel embarrassment anymore. I feel like it would have to be a next level.
Yeah.
Oopsie daisies.
I think we feel shame more than embarrassment now. And I think those are different.
Okay. I was going to say, I feel like
embarrassment is kind of has to come from a place of you don't have control over a situation.
Yeah.
Like you rip your pants. Like that's embarrassing.
That is
embarrassing.
But
you didn't really have control over it. It just kind of happened to you. Whereas shame is like you did something. You know?
Yeah. No, that is the difference. There it is.
So you can feel shame from an embarrassing situation if you're like me and you're hardwired for shame.
Yeah.
Oh, you watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
You seen the shame scene?
Shame.
Oof,
Shame.
that was like a fever
Shame.
dream for me. That's like how I feel when I go to the grocery store.
I feel like people are throwing shit at you.
No, I've actually gotten a lot better with just being myself and not worrying about how I used to think that it was like kind of my job to make everybody's day.
Yeah.
So I was like this cheery guy, and I would live my life for others, not for myself. And what's funny about changing that is people start to not like you, which actually kind of means you're living life right and more genuine, because you shouldn't be like, if you're liked by everybody, you're probably a psychopath.
Yeah.
But it is funny to switch from the switch is weird because everyone's like, Matt's different now. And I'm like, yeah, I actually takes effort for me to do that.
Yeah.
Like I actually have to go against my instincts. So it's good. Actually, people not liking you, it's good. But it's taken me 33 years to figure that out.
Yeah. You don't need everyone to like you.
Yeah. I don't.
And it's better if they don't.
Yeah. I'd rather have some people really like me for who I am, regardless of my whatever, than be liked by everybody for something I'm not. That's what the game I was trying to play. And that's exhausting.
Yeah. If everybody likes you, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quote.
Title.
All right. Let's get to the next. Those are our most embarrassing moments.
Yeah. Shame all time.
Shame
All the time.
If you get probed by an alien, is it cheating? Okay. Firstly, a woman definitely wrote this, or a man who was trying to make a point. Like he just he got into that argument of what is and isn't cheating.
Yeah, which means he's definitely cheating on whoever that person is.
Whatever she's considered cheating, he's doing it.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, what if an alien probes me?
Yeah. That's a really funny point.
And that is a boundary you have to establish with your other.
Yeah. I think I've been abducted.
Continue.
I think I've been probed.
Continue.
Some days I've woken up and my ass just hurts. Yeah. Like my tailbone area. Like there's been an immense amount of pressure in there.
Is it maybe like a little gas? Are you a little gassy boy?
No, it's different. It's like there was pressure in there. And it's like raw.
Okay.
Yeah. I do think I've been abducted.
That's interesting.
It's like a small theory I have. I'm not like really diving into it, but I just thought I'd share with you now. I've never really told anybody that.
In Eau Claire?
No, into space.
No. Did the abduction happen in Eau Claire?
Yeah, multiple times.
Here's the thing, though. On God, hand on an invisible Bible, I have seen 2 UFOs in Eau Claire.
I saw one in Eau Claire too. during the day.
Here's the thing. I saw one over by Chi-Town. I was driving. I remember that. I could tell you exactly where. Like I could show you where. This is how like stuck in my memory it is. But I looked up in the sky and there's like three little triangle. There was three lights, and it basically formed a little triangle.
Yeah.
And it was just hovering in place.
Yeah, that's how you know.
And then I was like, that's weird. And like maybe it was like a helicopter or something. But then it fucking turned. The lights turned.
Oh.
And then it just like moved. And like did like fucking and then just like a month ago, I was driving to work and I looked up in the sky and it was like I don't know 6:40. So the sun was just shining. It was a big blue sky and there's a really bright light in the sky, like bright.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's really bright. Maybe it was a plane or something.
I do have a theory already, but yeah.
I drive down the block, and I'm like looking at the road, and then I go to look back. That light is completely gone.
Yes. I think I know what happened.
What happened?
I think the sunrise reflected off a plane in the sky. And I've experienced that. Let me just
Keep going.
I sit on my porch in the summer.
Yeah.
Eau Claire is right underneath where a lot of planes fly into Minneapolis.
Right.
So you get a lot of high flying planes through here.
Right.
Things that sometimes you see a plane only for a second
Yeah.
because the sun hits it a certain way and then you get the reflection but it's gone right away.
I saw this for like, no joke, a good solid several seconds.
That's crazy. The
But-
triangle one seems more UFO-y to me.
That was at night too. That's why
I saw one during the day. I was at Phoenix Park and I was working. It was like the concert series.
Yeah.
So I was by the river. I look over the river and I see this like low flying. It's in the distance, but it's low on the horizon.
Yeah.
And it's just like a little silver thing. And it's just sitting there. And I'm thinking, well, it's too low to be a plane. If it's by chance a bird, it would be moving. But it was there for like 20 minutes. And I actually people were walking by and I'm like, do you see that over there? And they're like, yeah, what is that? And so like, then there was a group of like 4 people. We're all like, what's going on? And then eventually it just didn't move. So we're like, I guess we just go on with our lives, right? Like you can't, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
And then I like turn around and then I check back on it in a couple minutes, gone. It was weird, dude.
Maybe
Our mutual friend Tyler was there too. He's one of the people that was with me. TYB.
Oh yeah, TYB. Maybe aliens just enjoy local bluegrass bands. You know?
Yeah. It'd be like music on the river.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Maybe they support local scenes. That's what UFOs do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you're asking the question,
If you get probed by an alien, is it cheating?
I think if you're asking that question, you're being cheated on.
You're cheating in some way, and you're just trying to find a loophole out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's cheating,
Yeah.
but I think you are being cheated on, question asker.
Does God pray?
To who?
Upper management?
I think he's the top. Investors?
Here's the thing, right? Let's look at religion as a business. Priests, pastors, etc. They are supervisors. Okay. The Pope, he's regional manager,
Yeah.
right? CEO, God.
Yeah.
But just like there's multiple businesses, there's multiple religions, which means there are multiple CEOs. So I don't think God prays, but I do think he confers with other CEOs, like
Maybe.
Mark Cuban and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Like
Sure.
they get around and they have billionaire conversations. I think other deities do the same.
Interesting.
Yep.
Let's look at religion as a train.
Okay.
God is at the front of the train.
Yep.
He's the engineer.
Yep.
He's controlling the whole thing.
Sure.
In the middle of the train, you have all the people.
Yep.
Right? High class to low class. Have you ever seen Snowpiercer? It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
The back of the train's the devil. I think God talks to the devil.
God, that would be like.
I don't think it's praying necessarily, but I think he does pick up the phone and go, "Can you stop it with the hurricanes and earthquakes, please?"
Hey, knock it off, dude. Knock it off, you freaking.
I saw what you did,
devil. Yeah, you freaking dude. Yeah, that would be interesting if it was actually just a scheme. If it was just a huge scheme. What if God and the devil?
I think religion is a scheme, but yes, continue.
What if God and the devil were literally, they just did all of this to get rich on life insurance?
Maybe.
Why is there act of God in the thing? You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's a liability thing.
well, it's just like, why you got to put it in there? You know, is God who's making money from
Well, like
that?
I've signed contracts that are like act of God, null and void, which basically means like, okay, we will play this show and you will pay us $4,000 unless, you know, a fucking meteorite comes into the venue. Like an act of God is just like a random thing that you can't, it kind of just covers, it's like an umbrella statement.
Here's the thing though. It is an umbrella statement. However, it is also a very specific statement. So if you were to name a child God and then they started fucking terrorizing, could they then get out of that insurance thing? Because
knowing how insurance is in the US, no.
I guarantee you, if you take a lawyer to court, I feel like they could win with the right lawyer.
Yeah, you would need a skeevy one who's very charming.
You would need a smart, clever lawyer for sure. But it almost makes me want to name my child God. Title. My child God. My child, comma, God.
That was one of the. This is similar to a question my dad asked me as a kid that started my unraveling of religion.
Yeah,
and I've worked this out in therapy. So, 9/11 happens.
Back to back 9/11. A second tower. Anyway, a second episode. Keep going.
So 9/11 happens, and I'm like a fifth grader.
Yeah,
and I asked my parents, like, who did this? It's like it's people who are very religious, who felt that they needed, like, they don't like the United States and the things we do, you know, because they were explaining that there's a different religion. And then my little fifth grade brain is like, there's different religions. That's interesting. And they feel so much passion for their religion that they would like do horrible things in the name of it. That's weird, you know?
Yeah.
And this is before I knew about the Crusades and what the Christians have done too.
Yeah.
We've done some bad things as well. I say we very loosely.
I was going to say, hold on, just to interrupt your story. I love it when people say we, and then they refer to things that people did centuries ago as if we're one in the same. It's like when people were like, we kicked Germany's ass in World War II. You were there?
I think it's the royal we.
I don't like it. I hate it.
Okay. All right. I just was saying like humans did that.
I know.
I think we need to get out of.
We do need to get out of
like talking about them and
intertwining
it's all us.
People from fucking centuries ago to modern day. I think that's ridiculous. But anyway, keep going.
So then I watch Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene where a guy rips a heart out of another guy.
Yeah.
And hundreds of guys are also there and they're all praying and they're saying Om Nom Shabai, which is the thing that they said to their God.
Yeah.
Before doing this terrible thing. And then I go to church the next day and then we say the Lord's Prayer and there's hundreds of people saying the same thing at once. And I'm like, oh, this is the same thing. We're not ripping a heart out, but we're kind of doing the same thing as those evil guys.
Yeah.
And then you mix that with the 9/11 stuff. I'm like, oh, maybe we do bad things too. Maybe religion is weird. Really makes people do weird things, huh? And then my dad and I were driving home from school one day and he goes, Matt, do you love God? Casual conversation, you know?
And you were like,
school
what
was
happens?
a mile away, by the way.
You're like, what happens if I say no?
Yeah, it's really a cornering question.
Yeah.
And I go, yes, you know, because like, what else am I going to say?
Yeah.
And then my dad goes, how? I don't know.
Am I supposed to make love to God?
Yeah. And so then I'm like, I don't know if there's a way to love God.
Yeah.
And all this is happening in my little prepubescent brain, you know? And I'm just like, I think something's up. And then I get confirmed, and you have a meeting with the pastor, right?
Right.
You, your parents, you meet with the pastor to figure out if you're really confirmed or not.
Yeah. It's show if
See
you
if-
really love God,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
if you just like him.
And at the end of it, he goes, "Do you have any questions for me?" Like the pastor's like, "Do you have any?" It's like a job interview.
Yeah.
And I very openly was like, "So all you're saying is I believe Jesus died on the cross to save my sins, and that's how I get to heaven?" He goes, "Yep, that's it." And I was like, in my head, I'm like, "There's got to be more. That can't be it. This feels like a weird sales pitch. This feels weird."
Yeah.
And that was kind of the end of it. That was kind of, and I did some stuff in high school, like youth group stuff a little bit. There was always a friend who would invite you to like an all night lock-in, and all of a sudden you're at church.
Yeah.
You're like, "God,
Yeah. I've had the church.
I thought I was just
lock-in.
here for pizza and
Yeah.
games." But then it's like, I knew it wasn't for me when like all these fun things, like we would do fun things at church, and then we'd have to calm it down and pray. And I'm like, I just want to do the fun thing.
Yeah.
And we used to say this at my church all the time. It was, "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us be glad and like revel in it," right? The way I revel isn't in prayer. So why this seems like praying, like I don't like the obligation side of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now my opinion is, because I'm still very religiously curious, as I think we all are, even if people have made up their mind. I do think there's a deep spiritual need humans have as just, that's part of our personality.
Oh yeah. That's why astrology has taken off.
Yeah, exactly.
It is religion. It's just, people are like, instead of praying to a guy, they're praying to a rock.
Yeah, but at this
Yeah.
point now, I'm kind of just in the. My opinion is, if there is a God, the only way to make things really real is to doubt it constantly, to question it constantly. When you just accept it and move on, that's not really belief.
Yeah.
I really think the closest
God bless you.
the closest you get to God is by questioning him constantly. And so I think about it all the time. And arguably I'm closer to God than someone who's been religious their whole life, who just kind of accepts it and moves on, you know?
You know what? I feel like if you died and the most religious guy ever died and you get to heaven, God's going to want to talk to you more than he's going to want to talk to the other guy. Because the other guy is just going to fanboy and be a total yes man. But God's going to be like, "Hey, what do you think?" He's going to ask you what you think of the paint color for the bathroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he can trust my opinion.
Yeah, because he knows you're
I'm not going to be a yes
yeah.
man.
You're like, yeah, that's a good one. You're going to be like, "Well, actually, I think this interferes with the tiles in the shower."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh.
Have you considered a deep red? I know it's a bit demonic, but it would really accentuate the tile." Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point.
You're right to do that.
I think so. Yeah.
That would actually probably be a way better church, as if like it was like if it started off and then we all had a little pray, we all had a little get together, we all held each other's neighbors' hands, which to synchronize the bond of community, and then the preacher read off a passage, and then as soon as he was done reading the passage, he would just go, "Why?"
Yeah.
And then you would just dive into that. Everyone would just start asking questions and thinking. That would be do you want to start a church?
I kind of think Jar of Pain is a church. This is
religious for sure. But do you want to start a church like that?
Well,
Because I would start that church.
I've actually had an idea for the Church of Why.
I would call it Questionarian. Keep going.
Well, I just like the Church of Why as a nice title.
Church of Why is nice title for sure.
Because I noticed growing up too, like I was never really able to ask questions. It was just like God's will.
Yeah.
God will take care of it. And it's like, I don't think so. Like I'm in charge of my bad grades. I'm the one doing that.
The symbol? Cross, but it's shaped like a question mark.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we'll
I kind of think of the jar as a place to ask questions, because that's what you do to God, you pray and You pray for things, you ask questions,
We take the jar of pain format, put it in the church.
and they can ask questions.
They ask religious questions, and then we just riff it.
Yeah.
But then we also put the service basket around, so we make money.
But you understand that this is inherently a religious concept. The idea that life is both painful and beautiful and that God is everything.
So what you're telling me is...
This is kind of the base.
What you're telling me is we have grounds to not have our ticket sales taxed.
As someone who works for the business that sells the tickets, no. His name is Don, and he would not allow that. He's the guy in charge of tickets.
Okay.
God, this was a deep episode. I think we have one more.
I actually really love that idea, and I think I would go head first into religion if someone opened up a church like that and was specifically like that. No preachy bullshit.
I like the idea of a bad Christian church.
Huh?
Like a church for bad Christians. Because what I've noticed growing up in church is everyone feels holier than thou when they leave church.
Oh yeah.
But I would love a church that's like we're messy, dirty, awful people.
Yeah.
But we'd like to be better.
Yeah.
I think that's a stronger pitch.
And we're better by
and
questioning.
That kind of is the pitch of God, is like, tired, broken people come and feel better. But I think to approach it from a place of criticism is an interesting thought.
That is a fantastic thought, because that's what you should be doing.
Yeah, but no one's doing it. It's just like sing-songy.
Let's start a religion, Matt.
Yeah.
Let's buy out one of these outlet malls and make a freaking church. I'm literally like, if I didn't have anything else going on in my life, I would make a cult right now. That's what would happen.
Well, no, I think you think this is a good idea because you're currently unemployed and you're looking for a gig.
That's what I'm saying. But I've got comedy. So if I didn't have comedy, I would start.
It's just comedy.
It's my religion right now.
Yeah,
That's
but comedy is, in a way, religion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
what I'm saying is you could do it it's just the show isn't Friday at 8. It's Sunday at 10.
I'm a Friday at 8 kind of guy. I'm not a Sunday at 10. We started today at Sunday, and we were both like, this is a bad idea.
Yeah,
We should do
religion
something
came up.
new.
Well, the question was asked, but we talked a lot about religion, but it is ironic that it's church time. It's currently church time.
It is church.
In
time.
fact, the church bells will ring in a few minutes, I think.
Oh, okay.
They ring every hour.
Yeah.
But on Sundays, it goes a bit longer.
Bing,
They usually ring
bong.
for every hour of the day it is.
I'm not going to lie. I miss church bells. I haven't lived next to church bells in a while. And just that bing, bong, bing, bong.
Yeah, I hear them all the time.
Bing, bong, bing, bong. It's a good time.
Yeah.
It is peaceful.
One last question.
Okay. That means we got to manifest.
Well,
Let
we
me-
could pray to the jar.
Hold hands.
This feels sacrilegious. This feels bad to me.
This is our religion,
Okay.
so this is acceptable.
Okay. Dear jar, please give us a good one. I know that I have faith that whatever you give us is exactly the question we need in this moment to end our day here in the Church of Jar. Amen.
Have you gotten anything stuck in an embarrassing spot?
No.
Also, did the guy who wrote the probe question write this question?
That's very possible, yeah. I've never had something stuck anywhere.
Not even like a poo-poo?
Oh, I got one right now in the chamber.
There you go.
But it's not stuck. It's just waiting for you to leave.
Who's getting stuff stuck in...
It happens a
don't-
lot. I had a friend in high school who was an emergency room nurse. She graduated early to be a nurse.
Yeah.
And people would come in with things stuck in them a lot.
Yeah.
And it was probably from sexual
Curiosity.
desire. Curiosity.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than desire.
Yeah.
Curiosity. Like someone had put a frozen hot dog in there.
What?
I know. And then like they had to get it out. You know, like people put things in there.
This is why we need religion. So that way someone at church would ask, hey, would
Is it
God be
okay-
upset if I stuck a frozen hot dog up my ass?
And he wouldn't be, but we would
He
be.
would-
God is a very accepting person.
God gets it. He's been there, but we're all going to look at you different, Jerry. So
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah. And she was supposed to tell me that because there's laws about that. But she's like, I have to share this one.
Yeah.
But she said it happens all the time. Late at night in the emergency room, people come in with things in their holes. And you also get kids with things in their nose. Like my cousin's kid put corn in his nose once
Yeah.
and it started rotting.
Yeah.
He's a kid, so he didn't know. But like the kid would just smelled for a while. They're like, what is going on with him? And they took him in and the doctor like pulled out this gross, huge kernel of corn that had just
Yeah.
been in his nose for God knows how long. You know?
Yeah.
Kids don't know.
That reminds me of an Anthony Jeselnik joke where he says, I have this friend who's a doctor and like 85% of her job, or no, 75% of her job is just taking things out of people's butts.
Yeah.
Me and her don't talk anymore, but I see her all the time.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've shoved things in the ass, but they've never gotten stuck.
I've never did one of those. I'm trying to think. Maybe, you know what? I don't think I got them stuck, but I have tried to put pennies in my nose. I think when I was younger. This wasn't like a last week thing. This was like a last decade.
Yeah, there was a book about a kid who swallowed a key and he just pooped it out. I read it at school.
Yeah.
He would tie a key to a string and see how far he get down his throat and
You're-
then pull it back out.
You ever think about doing that with a vending machine? To try and like scam them? Scam them and you just like fucking, you know, Mr. Krabs did it in a SpongeBob episode and I was like, could we do that?
No, but I do know that Reboot Social tokens work at Aldi's as a quarter.
Jonathan, what time is it? 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 Jonathan, what time is it?